Hello everyone and welcome to SUGTalks. I'm Craig Dale, your host, and together with our special guest, we'll take a deep dive into the topics, challenges and opportunities facing SAP users today. Please make sure you do subscribe so you never miss any of our future episodes. I'm delighted today to be joined by Steffen Schad, Head of Outbound Product Management for SAP BTP. So welcome, Steffen.
Yeah, thank you, Craig. Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here. Good morning to you.
Oh, wonderful. And in today's episode, from Steffen's job title, you may have already guessed it, but we're going to be talking about SAP's business technology platform, looking at some recent updates and what the future might hold for it. And before we get into that, Steffen, just like to ask you, what's your favorite snack?
Oh man, now you're catching me on the wrong foot because there's so many of them at the end of the day, right? So it's not a video podcast, so people fortunately don't see my belly. I believe currently I'm, without naming a brand, I'm going with some spicy crisps, I'd say.
Oh, very nice. Yes. I do like a chili, or there's a beef and horseradish crisp I quite like. I'm also a crisp fan. I'm with you there. but I think my biggest one is probably biscuits with my cup of tea. That's my biggest one. And I also like the biscuits that have the orange jelly that people say is not actually a biscuit, it's a cake, and that's in the name. But anyway, that aside, thank you for that. And moving on, just before we get into the main subject, could you just give us a little bit of background on yourself and your role at SAP, please?
Sure, happy to. I believe you could call me an SAP old-timer of sorts. So I've been with the company now for closing in on 21 years, actually, come July. Started out in the NetWeaver technology area in development back in the days. And then when we started to move to the cloud, when we started with our cloud platform program, which has now evolved into the business technology platform like 12 or 13 years ago, I moved first into solution management and go-to-market. On that side, and now for the past 5.5 years and counting, I've switched back over again to development, and I'm running a product management team for SAP BTP, for our business technology platform. And in that role, we mostly work with our customers, with our partners or user groups like yours, and we try to help them understand the platform, what it can do. Right. Also try to help, spread the word, spread the gospel of successful customer implementations, if you will. And so also eager, obviously, always to learn from our customers and partners about what's working, what's not working, what are they doing with the platform. So, getting information on what our customers and partners are doing, spreading the gospel. And also my team is looking at a couple of, let's say, dedicated cross topics where we look at the platform as a whole, as opposed to the individual features, functions, and capabilities that we have. So, for instance, a member of my team is looking at our high availability disaster recovery capabilities across the platform and other, cross capabilities as such, if you will.
Oh, thank you very much for that. And congratulations on your forthcoming 21st anniversary, a feat in its own right.
Thank you, much appreciated. So I didn't think, I'd stay so long, that long back when I joined 2004, and I even was, working student in 2001. But, here I am 20 odd years later, and still happy and still going.
Oh, fantastic. Well, maybe we're mirroring each other as I joined the user group in 2004. So there we go. Maybe we'll just mirror that progression.
Neat, yeah.
And I do have to say, you mentioned how you and your team engage with user groups and everything. And I find, engaging with the product management team, we also bring our volunteers across to Waldorf once a year to meet with the product management team in their community areas to really understand what's happening with the solutions and how we can bring that knowledge to our communities. So thank you for the work you do and engaging with us to help customers understand the products and the solutions themselves, and not just the marketing hype, should I say.
Thank you, much appreciated. And if you allow me to go off topic or off script a little bit here, I just also want to make sure that I express the appreciation that we have for our user groups, right? Because, also as a product manager, meeting with individual customers is obviously great because you can go deep into individual projects and, knowledge gaps and issues and whatever we have. But having the user groups and working with them helps us sort of consolidate the voice of many individual customers, and then it also helps us then prioritize in our development roadmap the right things that are relevant for a broader audience. So absolutely appreciated that we work together between all the user groups, yours in particular, and us from product management here.
Thank you very much, Steffen. And moving on from our little love in there, can you highlight perhaps some of the most significant updates or new features that's been introduced to SAP BTP in the last 12 months?
Sure, absolutely. And it's been a pretty busy 12-month for us, right? So maybe first to set the stage, I don't know how much the listeners are familiar with BTP, with our business technology platform. So if you allow me a very short introduction. So BTP is our platform that we use internally for our cloud application development at SAP, but it's also a platform that we hand out to our customers and partners for them to innovate around SAP, let's say, right? And for that, we provide capabilities in, I'd say, 4 major categories. So that is application development and process automation. That is integration, which is super important, obviously. It's data management and analytics, and AI, right? So these days, no technology talk without, mentioning AI, I believe. And if we look now back at the past 12 months, I would say, let me pick one major announcement, one major release that we had in each of these categories, and let's see whether I can stick to one. I apologize if it's going to be 2 here and there.
Absolutely fine.
Excellent. So if we start out with application development and automation, the brand that we're pushing for application development and automation is called SAP Build, right? So SAP Build is part of BTP. That's our app dev and our process automation capabilities. And actually the major product release over the past 12 months here has been SAP Build as such, where we brought together ABAP development and non-app development under a single, not only a single brand, but we also integrated it more from a product perspective, from a technology perspective, because these days all of our SAP related development projects have some ABAP and also some non-ABAP aspects in there. So that was super important for us. And we brought there also together application development with process automation, with WorkZone, like the continuation of our portal and Launchpad technology, if you will, all under a single product. And that was our major launch end of last year, I'd say. So SAP Build for application development and automation.
Well, thank you.
If I look to integration, there we're currently focusing very much in helping our customers to move with us from the on-premise installations of integration technology, so PI, PO, for those familiar with our abbreviations, and the on-premise side, so process orchestration, process integration, our on-premise product. We help our customers move over to SAP Integration Suite, which again is the major brand, the main solution for us for integration on BTP. And that goes for everything from migration tools, migration assessment, providing additional capabilities that our customers, were appreciating on the on-premise side, and we also now made them available on Integration Suite. So, the major update I would say is everything that helps our customers move with us on the integration side. Then data and data management and analytics. There I have to cheat a little bit. It's more or less 2 innovations that I would like to highlight. One is the introduction of our Business Data Cloud, or BDC, right? So we had a big launch event earlier this year, I believe it was February, where we announced BDC as a new solution, which is essentially us bringing together data integration, analytics, and then also data products and all the analytic applications that we build at SAP into a single managed product then. And we launched that earlier this year, which is a major thing for us. And I shouldn't also forget SAP HANA Cloud, our database in the cloud, where in particular we've invested in enabling AI-based scenarios by, for instance, having a vector store. So the ability to store data in vector formats, which are required for reg scenarios when you create AI applications, or something more recent that's our knowledge graph engine, which allows you to store data in a knowledge graph, which is also important then to create AI scenarios. And talking of AI, that was obviously driving us across the board. We have made a very significant invest, obviously, in AI services and AI capabilities all across BTP, and most notably, I would like to mention the AI core service, which allows our customers to actually connect to large language models and create their own intelligent scenarios, to create their own intelligent applications, their own AI apps, if you will. So that's, let's say, one pick out of each category over the past year.
Thank you. Really appreciate that. And I'd like to come back to integration for a moment, if I can, because in our member survey at the end of last year, the most popular reason for our members using BTP was integration. And so how was SAP, the BTP integration with other SAP solutions evolved in that past year?
And that question has a couple of facets. So let me try to peel the onion here a little bit. Thank you for that. And first of all, integration is currently the most adopted service on BTP, and I believe everybody understands why, right? You have to be able to integrate SAP with SAP applications. Equally as important, integrating SAP with non-SAP, right? If you look at our customers, the reality is, although we'd like it to be different sometimes, but every single one of our customers also has non-SAP software, and we need to be able to connect and integrate with those. And then we have the question of the hybrid scenarios where we have to integrate, on-premise and cloud applications. So integration, super important. We have more than 11,000 customers, meanwhile, on SAP Integration Suite. And obviously, as we evolve the product, we have also evolved the, let's say, out-of-the-box integration with our SAP cloud solutions. So if you look at process integration and event-based integration, two capabilities of Integration Suite, we are constantly building out ready-made content where we pre-think necessary integrations, data mappings, etc., for our applications to applications. So you can, look at what we call the business. It used to be called Business Accelerator Hub. I believe I don't have the latest branding of that, but if you go to apis.sap.com, you can look at our catalog of multiple thousand pre-thought integrations between SAP solutions, right? So that is definitely a part where I'd say we've made a big invest in integrating BTP with the rest of the SAP Business Suite, I'd say. But also something that customers may not even be noticing, because it should happen under the hood, right, is our colleagues in the application development areas of SAP are also using BTP services to connect out of the box the applications, right, so that the customer doesn't even have to use SAP Integration Suite explicitly. And finally, something that we've also done over the past year, notably, is that we've started to have a much better and much closer integration between our main solutions and SAP Build. And you would use SAP Build to create your own extensions to SAP systems. And what we have developed is an out-of-the-box integration where out of S/4HANA Cloud, you can directly in the transaction where you want to build an extension, call up SAP Build. The application development environment gets all the context, all the information of where you want to build the extension, which makes it in turn much easier, hopefully, for our customers to build their own stuff that works with SAP.
Oh, fantastic. So looking at that then, we're moving towards almost seamless connectivity between SAP and SAP solutions, but also SAP and non-SAP solutions.
Absolutely. That has to be our goal. And we're, our teams are working on that, pretty much every day.
Wonderful. And you mentioned earlier around the AI services and capabilities and the investments in that. So if we could spend a little time on that, maybe look a little bit deeper perhaps at what advancements in AI and automation have been leveraged for BTP in the past year.
AI has been the dominant topic for us over the past 12, 18 months, and not just for us, for the whole world pretty much, I believe, at least in technology. So AI and AI use in BTP has a couple of facets again, right? So number one is the AI services that BTP has and brings to the table are the foundation of all the AI scenarios that our customers then get out of the box in our application. So I mentioned the AI core service, the connectivity to large language models, and all of these things are BTP services that our customers, our partners, but also SAP colleagues can use to create their own AI-based scenarios. We also create, let's say, on top, a couple of ready-made AI-powered services that our customers can use. So case in point, we have a service called Document Information Extraction, which uses AI capabilities to, as the name says, extract information out of documents and then put them into a structured format that you then, via an application, can use to, for instance, bring it into an SAP system. So let me just give you a concrete example. A customer of mine out of the consumer products industry, relatively large customer over here in Germany, is using this service that I just mentioned to automate the process that they have on a regular basis, where their suppliers send them info fact sheets on their products, from which they have to extract the information and put them into their SAP system to be compliant in their, they call it safety data sheets at the end of the day, and they automate all of that process. So there's no more poor person who has to open the attachment from the email, look at the data, manually transfer it with some kind of transaction into an S4 system. They automate that using that service, right? So that is just one example, I believe, of us putting AI into practice with BTP and making it real for our customers. And then the other facet is we don't only give AI services to our customers, we're also using AI ourselves to make developers and other professionals on BTP more, let's call it more productive. So what does it mean? If I look at the area of application development, for instance, with the help of AI, we've integrated now capabilities into SAP Build and our ABAP stack as well to help customers create applications based on natural language description of the application that they want to have. They can now create documentation, tests. We also have features in ABAP that helps you understand ABAP code. I'm pretty sure many of your customers have some quote-unquote old code somewhere sitting in their systems, which somebody has programmed some time ago, and nobody really understands, what does this code do. And now with the help of AI, it's the ABAP explain functionality, as we call it. You can now much better understand, what this code does, where it's used, etc. So that's super excited, getting our application developers and your application developers more productive. And you can also transfer that if you look to Integration Suite, for instance, where we have capabilities to optimize scripts that you have on Integration Suite with the help of AI. You can transfer that approach also to management and operations, day-by-day administration of BTP, where we're going to launch Joule support for BTP administrators to, relieve our poor administrators of some manual tasks by just telling Joule what to do moving forward. And then, and I believe we're going to touch on that a little bit later on, a recent announcement is that we're now also including what we call Joule Studio, a development environment related to Joule from SAP as part of SAP Build, where our customers can then teach Joule new tricks. So again, AI is incorporated pretty much all across BTP these days.
Oh, thank you.
We know our community, but we don't know yours yet. Why not share the benefits of your UKI Sub membership with those who don't know about us? The UKI Sub referral scheme rewards you for helping to grow and develop our community. You can check out the link in the description to find out more about how you can get involved. Terms and conditions apply. We hope you enjoy the rest of the podcast.
And as you've brought Joule Studio up, if we could maybe perhaps stay on that for a little moment. And the other thing that, we've heard quite a lot about at Sapphire and everywhere else in the market is all about these things, about AI agents, etc. So could you just tell us a little bit more about Joule Studio and perhaps how that could maybe enable businesses to develop their custom AI agents for themselves?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the pointer, and happy to try to explain what we're doing here. As you just mentioned it, we announced it at Sapphire. We announced two things around Joule Studio. Number one, end of this month, actually, we're going to go generally available with Joule Studio for the first use cases. So, to all the listeners, depending on when you listen to this episode, it might be already available, and I highly recommend to check it out. And then also what we're going to put generally available is the ability to teach Joule new tricks, if you will. I'm going to touch on that in a second. And we also talked about our plans to build that out into a full-fledged agent builder, if you will, so that our customers and partners can build their own agent to manage and execute complex tasks as well in their business by end of year, right? So if you allow me to spend a couple of seconds on that. So what does teaching Joule new tricks mean? Many customers who have come in contact with Joule already have told us, given us great feedback on the things that we put in the product, but they have usually their own ideas of what Joule also should be able to do in the space of HR or finance or some other things, because every customer has their specific processes, their specific needs, and hence they would like to extend Joule, if you will. Like with our applications, Joule is also something that they would like to extend. And they now, with SAP Build and Joule Studio on SAP Build, will be able to do that. So you would use low-code tools, so type of drag and drop type of user interface to create a process flow for Joule. You can define the inputs, right? What are you expecting? What is just this Joule skill expecting as input, and what can you give as output? And you can also add some predefined automations from SAP, right, which we also provide with SAP Build Process Automation. So you can select predefined automations and actions to incorporate in your skill, right, and configure the corresponding messages that Joule should give back to have this, chatty type of or interactive type of experience. And then with a couple of clicks of a button, you can then test, deploy, monitor, and operate your skills, right? So it sounds simple, and we absolutely hope it's going to be simple for our customers as well, and we believe this will see quite some pickup for all the customers who are using Joule already.
Thank you. And you mentioned obviously teaching Joule new tricks. Mm-hmm. I'm going to move on now and teaching old dogs new tricks that this podcast can actually do, because came across the term of AI-powered trend predictions in APIs, and I've got to say, I didn't have a clue what that meant. So I had to look into that. So I suppose for our listeners, could you perhaps maybe share a little insight into AI-powered trend predictions and APIs, and perhaps how SAP, utilizing SAP BTP, can leverage them for better business outcomes?
Okay. Yeah, happy to. And now, thank you for the segue. So we're moving over from application development and automation to the integration side of the house. And again, integration suite, super important because many customers are using it already today. So the capability that you mentioned is part of our API management component of SAP Integration Suite. So API management, in a nutshell, is a tool for you to, when you expose APIs to the outside, you can actively manage and govern these APIs, like, manage how they're being used and throttle the usage if there's, if there's people firing API calls over and over and all of these things. So you can manage the APIs that you expose then to the outside, or if you will, even internally in your company with API management. Now, what we are teaching API management is to, understand, let's say, what is a regular pattern, how are my APIs usually being used, and then also being able then to identify unusual use, right? If there's all of a sudden a spike in use of certain APIs, etc., or if you see other strange behaviors, like I mentioned, API calls or latency of API, if it takes way longer than for APIs to respond, or certain errors are being counted. If you have an unusual behavior of your APIs, that's an indicator for something being already wrong. Or if that trend continues, something in the future will be very wrong, and it hopefully then helps the people in your IT department then react to problems faster, or even address problems before they really get serious on your side when it comes to API management. And there we're using machine learning and AI type of capabilities to identify upcoming issues, identify issues early on, and then helping you address these, like predictive maintenance for APIs, you could maybe say.
Wow. Thank you. That's great. It's amazing where we're going with all this now, and it's fantastic. And if I may just pull you back to when you were talking about data management and analytics, obviously you did mention the big announcement around Business Data Cloud. And so how does BTP's integration with the Business Data Cloud empower businesses to leverage both SAP and non-SAP data more effectively?
That's also a good and an important topic these days, because what we see is our customers having to deal with loads of data sitting in many different sources, right? And the way that customers are often addressing that is just grab the data from everywhere and put it in some other data lake, and then make sense of the data there. And obviously what we would prefer and recommend is if every data store that you have can reside where it is, because there's also the rich data context and everything, and data should reside where it is, but still you should be able to make sense of it in analytics, planning, etc. So now what we've created with BDC is essentially an evolution of what we already had in BTP with SAP Analytics Cloud, or short SAC, as the analytics layer, and SAP DataSphere as I'll call it in a simplified way, the data integration layer, let's say. So we're bringing all of this together and making let's say an SAP managed out-of-the-box solution of that. So instead of giving you the bits and pieces and say, hey, good luck, you figure it out yourself on how to use all of that together, we try to do all of that to you, that we bring to you data integration, analytics on top. We also have a partnership with Databricks, which helps us then also address the non-SAP side of the house. And we also are building, let's say, analytic applications, which can be which are part of our business suite portfolio, then on top of BDC, so that our customers can make the most use and the best use of your data. And if you allow me one more plug of our application development portfolio, something that we're building out here as well is an out-of-the-box integration between SAP Build, the application development part of BTP, with Business Data Cloud, so that you can, out of SAP Build, naturally use data products, use the data products that we have in your own application. So that's where all of this comes together, that you can make most use of your data that you have in as a customer with your own applications, with AI scenarios and all of these things, with the help of BDC.
Thank you. That's amazing. I mean, we're talking about lots of different areas. You've got data from SAP, from non-SAP. We've got AI, leveraging AI. We've got APIs, and I suppose one of the key maybe concerns our customers may have with all of this information and accessing this information is security. Mm-hmm. What improvements have been made in terms of security within BTP to, I suppose, help customers feel safe?
Mm-hmm. So obviously, cybersecurity, data protection is a topic that's top of mind for all of our customers everywhere globally for us, for any software vendor, I would say, any enterprise software vendor. And thankfully, we have a great team of security specialists here who take care of securing all of our cloud applications from an infrastructure network and all of these kind of things from that layers. But also then our teams are looking at how to program our applications and our platform securely from the start, let's say. So there's very diligent internal rules that we follow, that our development teams follow in order to make sure that our services are created and also delivered in a secure fashion. Now, having said that, the security in particular on BTP is also sort of a team sport, if you will. So we have a shared responsibility here between our customers, partners, and SAP, because then when you build stuff on BTP, right, then the people who are building applications also have some responsibility to build and configure them in a secure fashion. And what we've invested now, and now I'm coming finally to the point over the past year significantly in, is providing security recommendations for our customers to easily follow. So I believe right now we're at 280 to 300 type of security recommendations, where we give our customers very structured, very detailed information of do it this way, do it that way, make sure this is checked, etc. And we are also working on automating, obviously, these recommendations, that it's easier for you, all of you out there, to apply them. So it's an important topic. It's also sort of a, as I said, team sport, shared responsibility, and we're trying to do our part in helping you do your part is what I would say. And if there's show notes or any other outlet that we can have, I'm happy to share the link then also to these security recommendations for BTP that I mentioned.
Perfect. Yes, definitely. We will certainly include that in the show notes. Share that with us. Fantastic. So, when we talk about BTP, everything that's in it, there's hundreds of services, etc. And we think, wow, okay, this is really for big SAP customers. But of course, it's also accessible to the smaller businesses, of course. And so has BTP become more accessible and beneficial for smaller businesses in recent times?
Mm-hmm. I hope so, is the short answer. And the long answer would be, obviously, we have to innovate here a little bit on the commercial side, first and foremost, because the capabilities, the functionality, we believe is relevant for all our customers, regardless of size at the end of the day. So just a couple of examples for Integration Suite. We launched a new commercial package called the SAP Integration Suite Starter Edition, which is now out and which should help smaller businesses then to take the first steps with this important integration area. Or we've included SAP Build, so the application development. We've included that into our S4HANA packages for the mid-sized and smaller markets, so that you don't have to purchase a separate license. It just comes out of the box, and you can use Build on BTP immediately when you buy our application portfolio for the mid-sized companies. So hopefully, with, let's say, commercial measures like these, we get more and more mid-sized and small companies on the platform. And if you allow me, I'll give you two examples, right, of successful implementations for mid-sized businesses. So there's a Swiss NGO called Essen für alle, so food for all, if you will. So they're using a BTP-based application to coordinate their volunteering work, right, and streamline the identification and the check-in of food packages and food package recipients for 1,200 food packages each week, right? So small NGO building something useful for them on BTP. Or if you go to, let's say, more traditional industry, we have in Germany the Mapal Dr. Kress AG. That's a mid-sized, mid to larger sized, mid-sized German company, let's say, still a global supplier of precision machining tools. And what they've done is they built an application that they call Access Points that simplified ordering and creating and configuring their solution. So they have a very complex portfolio because they're delivering very specialized tools for their customers, and that whole process of configuring then the right solutions for the customers took very experienced people. And now with the help of BTP, they've created a tool that helps transfer that knowledge from the very senior experienced people to, let's say, less experienced younger people. And with that also makes it all in all easier for them to create and structure their products. And if you're interested in more stories like these, I can recommend the what we call the SAP Innovation Awards. Right, it should be known, I believe, to many of our customers. We run this annually, where we give the opportunity to our customers and partners to present what they're building, not only on BTP but with SAP in general. And what you'll see is that pretty much all of them have some BTP component in, and you will find also mid-sized and smaller companies using BTP there.
Thank you. That's really good that it's extended more into the smaller businesses, and we look forward to that, getting even wider as we go into the future. So as we're coming towards the close in our conversation, Steffen, what can we expect in the upcoming months for SAP BTP?
Mm-hmm. So number one, obviously, we have to deliver on all of the announcements from Sapphire just a couple of weeks ago. So that stuff is going to come. Mentioned Joule Studio, mentioned the AI features for developers, mentioned the AI features integration suite. That's all available or will be available shortly. Right, and that is something that I would also recommend if I can pitch the Sapphire recordings. That is going to be helpful for your customers, for your listeners, to understand what's coming from an SAP side. And then I will also, of course, recommend to stay tuned then towards the end of the year when we are going to approach TechEd. TechEd is going to happen early November, so we're going to have a bunch of new stuff coming out there as well. And I believe the Your Connect, if I'm not mispronouncing it, the UKI Connect is going to happen end of November, and obviously we're eager then to also appear there and showcase all of the hopefully great stuff that we're going to have delivered by then.
Oh, fantastic. Yes, definitely. Already thinking forward to the event and what maybe hands-on sessions we can bring for our members to really help them get to grips with everything that's happening in the latest technology. That'll be amazing. So we've mentioned a number of different things there for information. You mentioned the listening recordings of the Sapphire keynotes, listening or looking at the Customer Innovation Awards from SAP. You mentioned api.sap.com. Where can customers go to get more information on BTP?
Well, apart from our website, sap.com/BTP, if you're a little bit more interested into deeper information, I would recommend what we call the Discovery Center. Again, I hope that name rings a bell for many of the listeners here, because what you get on the Discovery Center is, on the one hand side, deep information on the products and services that make BTP, but also we have our guidance framework, as we call it, on there. So that is documentation geared towards developers, towards integration specialists, towards architects, in helping them learn or understand the best practices that SAP recommends in how to use BTP. So that is, I believe, the prime source of information that I would like to point our listeners to.
Thank you. Steffen, thank you very much. Thank you for your time and thank you for your insights. I really do appreciate you giving us time and having this discussion today.
Likewise, this was great. Thanks for having me. Again, thanks for giving me the opportunity and thanks for the conversation.
Oh, you're more than welcome. And thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and found it valuable. Please make sure you do follow this podcast so you don't miss any of our future episodes. And until the next time, stay safe, stay well. And remember, like I've discovered today, every day is a school day. So keep smiling.